Alright guys, what's up? Sacrilege here, and today I'm doing Ripraw overview. As some of you know, I have been trolling around with Risco, doing a dual Ripraw team late at night and just taking it through elimination and stomping face. For those of you that actually watch my Estrella overview, I talked a lot of shit to Ripraw. I don't take any of that back. He's definitely got his drawbacks. But when presented with support, Ripraw is actually quite an effective bot. He rocks a 5 out of 10 offense rating, a 4 out of 10 defense rating, and a 6 out of 10 utility rating. I don't know if I'd give him a 6, maybe a 5 for utility, but I will leave this in the hands of Jagex. Alright, moving on. So as with my previous one, he is a soldier, direct counterpart to Estrella. He's supposed to be good at everything. He kind of lacks in a few areas I'll cover later. Being a soldier, he gets 5% reduction to incoming repairs. Moving on to weapon number 1, the Maximum Missile Launcher. It's got a badass range. 7 out of 8 range, 4 shield damage, 2 sparks. So yes, this is a shield damaging weapon. It's very, very effective at stripping shields. It launches halfway across the map. Very effective for his heavy weapons motif. It's S-Tech, the workout drill. I like it. I like it a lot. It puts a dot on the target, and this dot will periodically explode, dealing damage to any of his friends around him. So it's very effective at drawing people out from the pillars on Angelino District or rocks on Old Jasper. It forces them away, or it makes them stay together and they all take damage. I don't argue when that happens. Weapon number 2, the Vice Heavy Grenade Launcher. Very long range. Just like Estrella's, it's got an 8 out of 8. However, this is a spark-based weapon, so it only does 2 out of 8 to shield, 4 out of 8 to spark. As with Estrella, you just lob these across the map. It doesn't really matter that it's just spark for that type of range, and being able to hit those pop shots, it's very effective, very lovely. For some reason, I'm actually more able to aim this grenade launcher than Estrella's. I'm good with them both, but this one just has pinpoint accuracy. It's amazing. I wonder if there's some type of bug going on there. It's S-Tech, the tungsten grenade, stuns everything. And big, it's not the normal grenade AoE. This stuns everything at a huge radius. It's very effective for when you're using it against, actually, you know what? I was about to say macro, but I'm doing an Autobot here. Just anybody that's deciding to group up, especially against mismatches. And conduits, their damn shotgun heals. Locks them all down. Boom! Moving on to weapon number 3, the Galactic Axe. It's a spark weapon, so naturally it hits like a frickin' truck against spark. It's got a 5 out of 8 spark damage, only a 2 out of 8 shield damage. And again, it's a melee weapon, and it's only got 1 range. That being said, an argument could be made for 1.5, you know, taking into account lag and latency and that type of thing. Hits like a truck, not gonna lie. I love it. Unfortunately, I wish it was Omni. It really, really needs to be Omni damage. And that is only because of its S-Tech. This is how Ripraw stays in the fight. The S-Tech, the Spark Plant. What this does is it repairs him for 350.8% of the damage dealt, or 912.3 if the target has the Cooked Circuits debuff, which is one of his equipments. The problem with this is, if at any point between when you activate his S-Tech and when it actually hits, there is a slight delay, just like Monsoons. If they get even 1 point of shield, it'll hit like a wet noodle, and it's completely lost. Even the level 2 S-Techs complete loss if they got 1 point. So you got to be real careful and real know your surroundings when you go to use this. That being said, if you're about to die, use it on shield anyway. You never know. we're going to move on over to his equipment number 1, the heat vents. Now what this does is it puts a small AoE around you that applies a dot to enemies. What it does is it deals spark damage to anybody near you, and then the dot it puts on them, the cooked circuits, is another dot. So you're getting double benefits if you can keep them in your little encirclement. And the added benefit is it also benefits any other Ripraw's axe. So when I'm playing with Risco, we don't really coordinate this, but it happens, is we'll alternate our heat vents to constantly keep cooked circuits on them, so we're both benefiting from that increased heals from the axe S-Tech. Also, it lets your heavy grenade launcher apply the cooked circuits. You're not going to get the initial dot from anybody standing next to him, but for Ripraws that are being played as heavy weapons, long range support, it lets you apply that dot in a very AoE circumstance. A good combination is you launch the stun grenade, you hit them all, immediately hit equipment 1, and launch a regular grenade, boom, dots on everything that was just stunned. They will stay stunned long enough for that second grenade to land. Alright, moving on to the equipment number 2, Dynametal Flex. I actually like this. I at first I didn't like it because I'm constantly moving, but now that I've played with him and understand it a little bit better, it's very useful, especially against Diablos and their nasty little redirects. Alright, so what this does is it reduces incoming range damage by 50% while moving, or 90% damage reduction while you're standing still. So yes, you can't quite chase people with your axe with this. That being said, you don't really want to. The other side effect to help counteract the fact that you're having to stay still is it also reduces melee damage by 15% while moving, or 27% while standing still. The most effective way I have found to use this ability is to pair it with weapon number 1. That is because of his subsystem. Every critical hit extends the duration of hull buffs, which means it'll extend the duration of your heat vents, it'll extend the duration of your Dynametal Flex, and it'll extend the duration of your support strikes, which I haven't quite gotten into yet. I have literally had this buff up for 20 seconds. There is no cap to it as long as you continue to deal critical hits, which is done in part 2, weapon number 1. It's ammo based and it has like 8 shots and it's very rapid. It's just like Diablo's missile launcher. And then quickly reloads, you keep shooting. It'll keep it up for as long as you need it to almost. I've had it paired with my destruction cooler to where it has come off cooldown before I have lost the buff. Very useful. That being said, again, if you're in the melee range, you're in the heat of the battle, and you got your axe, I mean, use it. For the love of Christ, use it. Stay alive. That is your main point in any game mode. You gotta stay alive. Moving on to equipment number 3, support strikes. I don't really use it because I usually play with Risco with this guy, and it's completely useless for other Ripraw warriors. What this does is it causes the heavy grenade launcher explosions to fuel S-Tech gauges, reduce equipment cooldowns, and give them a small heal. It leaves a little dust cloud. You stand in, you get healing ticks, you get equipment cooldown rapid ticks, and it builds your S-Tech. Unfortunately, other Ripraw warriors are immune. So I can't sit in the back, use equipment 6, lob it on to keep Risco or any of my other Ripraw buddies that I'm about to play with tonight. We're not going to be able to use that at all, unfortunately. Not sure I agree with that. Maybe a reduced effect, 50% reduction in what it does, but to completely eliminate it, especially for such a rare bot. I mean, how many people actually have Cybernite? Not that very many of us are out there that are crazy enough to spend $449 on this shit. Alright. And my usual, I'm very offensive based. I have 2 spark weapons, so spark damage increased by 30%. That being said, when recon comes out, I'm probably going to throw in the stun equipment, just because I hate chasing people. I hate it with a bloody passion. And obviously your highest level mining probe. Alright, moving down to my cores. Every bot has it. Upgraded damage refueler. Taking damage fuels my X-Tech gauge by 2.1. This is something new. I threw my optimized critical focuser. What that does is critical hit damage increased by 30%. I use it on that because this guy is a little crit heavy, especially with his weapon number 1 and his subsystem feeding off critical hits. And then again, upgraded to suction cooler. I like my equipment. It keeps me alive. So, boom, boom, boom. Future cores that I will be putting on him will be upgraded damage reinforcer. Taking damage has a 5.5% chance to reduce further damage by 25%. And I'll probably throw on the upgraded destabilization. And which that does when I'm stunned, knocked down, immobilized, blah, blah, blah. It reduces my incoming damage by 25%. You can kind of interweave them to suit your type of play. I know Risco runs the damage articulator. That's about it for that. Boom. Alright, so we'll cover his resprays a little bit. Comes standard, red with yellow as the sub. Moving over, he's got just a swip swap. Is that even a word? Flip flop. That's the word I was going for. Flip flop of the red and the yellow. An argument could be made for light orange. They have a name for that. It's called yellow. And then black and yellow, my personal favorite. However, I run with Risco. We run dual this color just because it looks cool together. Alright, moving on over to my tuning. Again, I play all of my bots very offensively based. I'm actually going to try out tonight a crit build to see if I can keep up a permanent Dynametal flex, and I'll let you guys know how that goes in a future video. So 31, I've only got 70 points to play with. I threw 15 into Spark. His axe hits like a truck, and because his heals are based off of how much damage his axe does, it increases how much healing I get from that S-Tech. That being said, Spark is useless if they got shield up, so I augment that by increasing my shield damage, putting a 10 out of 20 into that, so my maximum missile launcher hits like a truck too. Unfortunately, that means I have almost no points left over for resistance or spark strength, shield strength, etc., etc. Because I throw it into 5 into bot speed because he's got a melee weapon. I don't want people to be able to range me when I use that S-Tech. It's very frustrating. But yeah, no, the crit build I'm planning on doing, I'm going to dump 20 points down into focus, and I'll leave 10 points up in my shield, and I'll pull 5 out of my bot speed. He'll be a long range support, basically. That should be theoretically nigh unkillable, assuming he's getting those critical hits like I'm hoping he will. Anyways, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is Ripraw. I know there was a slight argument on the forums between everybody, and I don't agree with everybody. In fact, I disagree with most people. Ripraw is very counterable. 2 Ripraws even more so because we lose the ability to use our equipment number 6 on each other. A few counters to him with all of his hull buffs would be a mismatch. Definitely mismatch. Mismatches Saw S-Tech will remove hull buffs. It's very painful to lose our heat vents or our Dynametal flex before their duration is completed. Another one would be Pandemic. He eats the hull buffs and it buffs him. So if we're running heat vents and Dynametal flex, and God forbid I slip and hit equipment number 6, that's three hull buffs on me. And if he eats all of those, he receives 45% increased damage, 45% reduced damage. That is absolutely ludicrous. Pandemic, run a wild. I do know that Conduit is also able to remove our heat vent debuff. And I think Derail might be able to too. I'm not quite sure on that one. As with all my videos, you got questions, leave them in the comments, ask me end game. Let me know who you want to do next. I actually enjoy these. I get a lot of comments. I log in, people go, dude, I saw that video you did on Estrella. That was amazing. Or, you know, I'll get the assholes that log in, dude, you suck. But thank you for doing the videos anyway. And I just kind of brush them off. I was like, yeah, I remember your name. I kicked your ass last week. Either way. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Etc. 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 And I'll see you guys in the universe. Oh wait, I lied. I didn't even do his vehicle form. See, you guys got me all confused. So his vehicle form, I'm not too impressed with. His grenade launcher, it's ammo based and it launches 5 at once, just like flatlines. It's almost impossible to aim. I use it as an entrance when I'm charging into battle. That's about it. And his equipment leaves a fire patch just like Sparkscape. Nothing too impressive. Again, I use that when I charge in. I usually ram them with. I wish I did damage running into people with my truck. That'd be awesome. I usually hit him, drop that alt strike in because his alt strike is actually an AoE around him and not a frontal cone. And that'll be my entrance. He gets this debuff on him. He gets the dot from all my stuff. Very dotty. Ripraw is very, very dotty, I've noticed. Anyways, I'm signing off. I'll see you guys in the game.